Do you fear losing your relationships and yet find yourself doing the exact things that drive your partner away? In this video, I'm going to look at 10 ways relationship anxiety can show up in your relationships and actually result in the very abandonment that you fear. But here is the good news. By understanding your contribution to your relationships, you give yourself the opportunity to change your behavior. And in doing so, you can impact how your partner responds to you and give yourself the opportunity to build the secure and loving relationship that you've always longed for. This video is going to focus on you and your contribution to your relationship. That is not to suggest that your partner does not play an equal role. Of course they do. However, as you're the person watching, you are the person who's going to be able to take the first step to changing the relationship dynamic. Becoming more aware of how you may have hurt your relationships can be painful. I hope you're able to watch this video without a sense of self-criticism, and certainly without telling yourself that these are the behaviors you must change in order to be worthy of love and secure connection. Instead, I hope you can watch this video recognizing that your relationship anxieties come from painful past experiences and likely provoke a lot of difficult emotions. So try to have a real sense of compassion and grace and willingness to forgive yourself for things you may have done in the past. I'd also really like to acknowledge your courage in being willing to self-reflect and take this important and sometimes challenging first step towards healing and building better relationships. Do let me know in the comments which of these patterns you relate to and if there's any that I may have missed. Number 1, you avoid intimacy. If you fear losing those close to you, one way you might try to protect yourself from the pain of being abandoned or left behind is to avoid getting too close to anyone in the first place. Part of you may believe that this is a way to prevent you from getting hurt. However, the impact on your partner is probably that they start to feel very disconnected and unloved, and that increases the chances that they may choose to exit the relationship, resulting in repeated experiences of people leaving you. Number 2 is the opposite, being too clingy. If you fear abandonment, you might try to get very close to your partner. You might even start to see their friends or their independent interests as a threat to you and your relationship. You want to be the only person, the only thing that they care about, because that reassures you that you're really special to them. Unfortunately, when you start to discourage your partner from engaging in the things that are important to them in favor of spending more and more time with you, this behavior can make your partner feel very suffocated, and they may start to pull away and withdraw from you. This can create a vicious cycle where you feel anxious, so you try to get close. Your partner feels suffocated, so they pull away. As they pull away, you get more anxious, so you start to become more clingy, and on we go. Number 3, by being distrustful. If you're fearful of your partner cheating on you, you may find yourself monitoring them, checking their phone to see who they've been talking to, demanding explanations about their whereabouts. You may even find yourself accusing them of cheating on you in the absence of any reason to suspect such a thing. This can bring tremendous conflict into your relationship. Your partner can feel scrutinized and judged and defensive, or they may even start to become secretive because they feel so intruded upon. As they become more defensive, more secretive, you are of course going to become more suspicious and more scrutinizing. And the level of conflict this creates can actually result in losing a relationship with someone who may have been a loyal partner to you. Number 4, seeking reassurance. If you feel insecure in your partner's love and commitment to you, you might find little ways to get reassurance that they're still there. This can take the form of sending them text messages just to make sure you get one in response, or saying I love you to make sure they say I love you too. Or you want them to listen to you, share about your day so you can feel loved and cared about. Now, of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong with sharing your experiences with your partner and getting their emotional support. However, when these behaviors are coming from a place of seeking reassurance, show me you still love me, show me you still care about me, You can be very vigilant for any little sign that they might be withdrawn. So if they don't respond to your text message immediately, if they don't immediately say, I love you too, or they've had a difficult day themselves and they're just not able to take in what you're saying, you can become very, very anxious and really take these little things as a sign that your partner actually doesn't love you and isn't committed to you or doesn't care about you. Now, this can become very burdensome on your partner. They can start to feel resentful. They can start to feel exhausted. And as a result of that, they may actually start to withdraw from you. And of course, that withdrawal is the trigger for your anxiety and even more reassurance seeking. Number 5, you test their commitment by threatening to leave. This is reassurance seeking on steroids. It's threatening to leave the relationship as a way of finding out, will you fight for me? Do you care about me? Will you fight for our relationship? And this is often done in the context perhaps of an argument. So you threaten to leave and the argument ends. It ends either because your partner responds with, I don't want to end the relationship, I care about you very deeply, and you get that immediate reassurance. Or your partner says, fine, let's leave. And the two of you go off to your separate locations. And then you calm down, you realize how much you miss each other, and quite quickly you come back together and you have a make-up. And that making up can feel temporarily very soothing until the next time you have an argument and someone threatens to leave. Now, this gives you that temporary reassurance that you want, but in the long term, this is a very high conflict relationship, and it isn't one in which you're going to be able to relax and experience the security that you yearn for. Number 6, you have unhealthy ways of coping with your emotions. Abandonment fears can create a lot of difficult and painful emotions. You may engage in ways of coping with those emotions that are quite self-destructive. Things like drinking excessively, or spending recklessly, or engaging in self-harm. This can generate a lot of anxiety for your partner. They can feel quite overwhelmed. They may be quite frustrated or angry with you. And the result of that is they can find it very difficult to connect with you, to know how to support you. They can feel overwhelmed, and they can even consider leaving the relationship in order to escape this kind of turmoil. Number 7, people pleasing. Fearing losing the relationship, you might try to keep people close by being very accommodating, meeting all their needs, giving them everything they ever want, anything they ask for. Nothing is too much for you. You may find that you adopt their interests and serve their needs at the expense of your own. The result of this can be that you even start to lack a sense of your own identity and who you are outside of that relationship. This is a very self-sacrificing pattern, and sooner or later you're going to feel exhausted, you're going to feel depleted, you're going to feel maybe resentful. You may feel needed. You may have a sense of security that this person won't leave you because they rely on you so much. However, that sense of being needed is very different from a sense of feeling wanted. And so by being so needed, by being so serving, you can feel needed and useful, but you may not feel desired, wanted, or cherished. And that's not all. This can be a very dangerous pattern in your relationships because it can attract the kind of person who wants to control you and manipulate you. And you can end up in a relationship in which you're being abused, which is very harmful to you and very harmful to your sense of yourself and your sense of other people. Number 8, you tolerate behaviors that should never be tolerated. If you have a severe fear of being alone, you may find that you tolerate persistently disrespectful, unkind, or even abusive behavior. You'd rather be in any relationship than face being by yourself. And this creates a terrible cycle in which your experience of relationship is one of being hurt, one of being abused, and that can really exacerbate your fear of relationships and a sense of hopelessness that anything better would even be possible. Number 9, you become obsessed and completely focused on only one person. If you have a fear of abandonment, you may have a part of you that longs to be loved, that longs to have just one person who really sees you, who really loves you, who really cares about you, who will be everything that you need. That is so, so enticing. But if you seek that to the detriment of wider relationships and friendships with people who love and care about you, this puts way too much pressure on that one relationship. And any conflict in that relationship is going to become enormously threatening because it's the only one that matters. This can lead your partner to feeling overwhelmed and wanting to get away. And it can also be something that abusive people would exploit in order to isolate you from friends and family, to make you more dependent on them, to make it harder for you to leave so they can better control and manipulate you. Number 10, controlling behavior. For some of you with a very high fear of abandonment, you may find yourself on the other side of that dynamic I just talked about. You may find yourself being the one who controls, as well as being extremely hurtful and damaging to your partner. These behaviors have the exact opposite effect of soothing your abandonment fears. Using control and manipulation to keep people close means you will never get to have the experience of someone choosing to be with you simply because they want to, because they care about you, because they love you. The intention of your controlling behavior may be to give you a sense of security by keeping people close and preventing them from being able to leave. It actually leaves you very much alone and unloved. If you've recognized yourself in any of these patterns, you're now in a better position to change what you do in order to change your relationships. So click on this video next.